Tabitha and Atticus loved to follow Jesus whenever they could. But they were not the only ones. All sorts of different people listened to Jesus, including rough, cruel people, those who drank too much, thieves, the homeless, and lots of people who were pushed aside by the rich and powerful. One day, a large group of people were eating with Jesus and listening to his words.
Wow, this looks like a really rough crowd.
I don't feel very safe here, but Jesus doesn't look scared.
The religious leaders standing there are not happy.
They are moaning about Jesus eating with such people.
One of them is grumbling and saying he accepts bad people and eats meals with them, treating them like old friends.
Shush! Jesus is answering the religious leaders by telling them a story.
Suppose one of you had 100 sheep and lost one. Wouldn't you leave the 99 who were busy eating grass and go after the lost one until you found it? When found, you would lay it on your shoulders and you would rejoice all the way home. Then you would call your friends and neighbours and say, "Let's have a party. I found my lost sheep." I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one who wanders from the good pathway and who then returns back to God than over 99 faithful people who do not need to be rescued.
Jesus has gone straight into another parable about a lady who has 10 valuable coins, but then she loses one.
Won't she light a lamp and search through her house, looking under all things and peering into dark corners, hoping to find it? And when she does find the lost coin, she will call her friends and neighbours and say, "Let's have a party. I've found my lost valuable coin." In the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one who wanders from the good pathway and who then returns back to God than over 99 faithful people who do not need to be rescued.
The religious leaders would never spend time with bad people, but Jesus was known as the friend of sinners. And these parables speak of how God the Father is eager for people to turn to him and that he won't reject them. There is indeed great rejoicing in heaven when someone does turn to God. But the parable of the lost sheep also shows us that the sheep that went astray was still a sheep. In other words, this also talks about a believer who is tempted away from God to do wrong things, but the great shepherd will not give up on that believer who has turned away from him. In fact, God is constantly looking for them to turn back to him. Jesus does go on to tell the parable of the lost son, also known as the prodigal son, but that is another story.